Hello, good evening, sir. Today I'm discussing about what is Angular and why it's so popular. What is the requirement of Angular in web development and developing single player application instead of React, and who develop Angular and who currently maintain Angular. Firstly, we're discussing about what is Angular. That this topic Angular is a framework. Angular is a JavaScript front-end framework for developing single page application, just like there are different types of single player frameworks in markets like a Django and React React Native for developing single player application. But why is Angular so popular? Because Angular is written in a JavaScript in a TypeScript. But TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Firstly, we're going to here and explaining. Uh, if you're going to what is Angular? Angular is a JavaScript front-end framework for developing the single page applications. Single page applications. Okay. And why it's so popular? Because popularity of Angular is increasing day by day. If you're going to search why is Angular popular, why Angular is so popular, and we're going to also explain another. If you're going to hear and explain the difference between Angular and Swift. We're going to hear and explain all this. Why is Angular is so popular in modern application development? If you're going to hear and checking this block, Angular is a platform that makes it easy to develop robust web applications. It unites the declarative template dependency injections end-to-end tooling and integrated the top perform to resolve development challenges of developers. This is a two typical block. If you're going to hear, explaining on this block, why is Angular so popular? What is Angular and why it's so popular? Framework, if you are going to the frameworks plays a very vital role in web development space. They not just boost web efficiency or a frame performance, but offer a consistent structure so web developer no longer require rebuilding code from scratch. Yeah, and since you have a plethora of options around choosing the right and idle according to your requirements, can be pretty daunting. There is one option which I can go wrong with this. I am talking about none of the open source front-end application Angular framework. Okay, about Angular framework. Angular is primarily an interface between HTML and complex web apps. Okay. Being a JavaScript open source front-end web application framework, Angular has been pretty much in talk since inception. According to recent survey, nearly 30.7% of software engineers now use AngularJS for user interface. For developing user interface and developing user experience, 30% of 30% of 100 of software developers out of 100% software developers use AngularJS. Google is its godfather. Google would develop Angular. I mean, the tech giant has successfully maintained and still on the verge of reaching new benchmarks with the prime objective to develop single application. Angular comprises features like model view controller, dependency injection, two-way bending, three-way libraries, third-party features, lazing reload for user interface. Lazing loading for user interface means low reloading time, etc. to build dynamic and large applications. Moving on. There are some versions of Angular. Firstly, first time an Angular is come in the market. Its name is Angular JS. And for most version, it is developed in 2009. After that, in 2016, Angular 2 is come. Then after Angular 4, Angular 5, and basics of basic updates of Angular is coming in like a monthly and weekly type. But it not affected the developers point of view. But it didn't affect the developers to developing web applications. Okay. Key features of Angular: two-way binding, dependency injection, document object model, DOM, document object model, also called DOM model, TypeScript. Another crucial feature of Angular framework is TypeScript. This is one of the set of types to JavaScript. It is a superset of JavaScript which help user to write JavaScript code that is easier to understand. The TypeScript code compiled with JavaScript and can run smoothly on any platform. Which means any developer having a stack is like a mean stack who having a knowledge of MongoDB, Express, and Angular and Node. If any of the if any person who want to become a web developer, he wa- he have to do he must to do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For book backend using a PHP, Python. But after that, Angular Angular invention, the developer who using a front end front end technology HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also use JavaScript in the backend, just using a TypeScript. A popular reason to choose Angular your framework. Is it easy to use? Easy to use. Like I said before, the Angular framework is comprises real DOMs since the beginning from the uh, Angular JS development era. This means it has always been suitable for creating single page applications. From a developer perspective, the learning curve is simple and easy, but they don't modify content from the business perspective. Okay, seamless community support, two-way binding, deploy speed is faster, data security, compatibility of Angular, code consistency, cross-platform. Now, this is for what is Angular and why it's so popular. If we are going to a difference between React and Angular, there's some difference between React and Angular. Who have the competitor? The React is a competitor of Angular. Mm, Facebook would Facebook who maintaining React. Okay, key difference. If we are going to hear a key difference, Angular JS is a structural framework for developing dynamic web apps, where React is JavaScript library that allow you to building UI components. It is a framework for developing dynamic web apps. While React is a framework, React is a library that allow you to building your personal UI components. Angular JS is based on MVC, Model View Controller, where React is based on virtual document object model. Angular is based on TypeScript and React is based on JavaScript. Okay, Angular JS Angular JS doesn't provide adding JavaScript library to the source code, while React allow adding JavaScript library to the source code, which means that Angular doesn't provide a third party with JavaScript library, but React providing third party JavaScript libraries. Okay. After that, AngularJS provide testing and debugging for a complete project with single tool. Okay. There is a single tool we are having to debugging testing in a single tool. Angular providing different tools. But where React requires a set of tools to perform different type of testing. If you want in React, if you want to debugging our app, you're having different tool, and if you have to completing testing and deploying there are different tools. Key feature of React is like if we're going to here allow you to use third-party application, but Angular doesn't allow to use third-party application. It's time saving, simplicity and composable, full supported by Facebook, better user experience, very fast performance, faster development, code stability with one direction data binding. But in Angular, you have bi-directional data binding. It's a two-way data binding. It is a React components. Now we are going to have key features of Angular: built-in support for Ajax, HTTP, and observables, large community support, consistency with technology. TypeScript offers efficiency, cleaner and crisp coding, enhanced support for error handling, seamless update using Angular CLI, forms and sorry, shadow object document object model, and local CSS cascading style sheets, UI and business logical separations. When to choose React? This blue for Angular and Yellow is for React. We're going checking. Angular is Angular is spreading day by day. Okay, these are some key different. We are using React is JavaScript library, but Angular is a complete framework. React JS can be packaged with another programming language, which is only a complete solution in itself. It is easier to grasp compared Angular. Learn Learning Angular is not easy for beginners, but it's required lots of training. Okay. When it comes to community support, React not for much, but Angular having the large community as compared to React. Okay. We're going to here. I'm explaining. Okay. Angular. If I'm going to here and checking material dot angular dot io, this is a site where we are having different materials. So they are going to components. These are some components we are using in the Angular. These are some components we are using a autocomplete badge, bottom sheet, bottom toggle, button, card, checkbox, chips. This like a chips, core settings. We are using a divider, dialog box, date picker, expansion panel, form field, grid list, input icon. There are different types of components, and we are using a toolbar. This is our toolbar. We're going to click. We're going to here. Okay, these are multiple rows. Okay, we're going to have tabs. There are different tabs. We're going to have stepper. This is stepper. We're going to short header. This is a short header. Snack bar, which are using in this. If we're going to here and checking snack bar. Show snack bar. This is a snack bar disco party dance. Okay. A slider. We are using a basic slider. A slider toggle. Slide is like it says slider toggle. Side neighbor. If we're going to here, please open stack build to see result. It's a drawer. What is stack builds? We're going to here. I'm checking what is stack build. Online webs. Okay, this is an online coding Apple. Okay, we're not using this. We're going to here. Oh, what is your where is your video? Your video is continue. Okay. So React. This is our side name. There are different types of there are different types of uh, components which are using in our Angular. These are buttons. These are button toggle. And this is our metal.io Angular components. If we're going to Angular components, we're going to here Angular components. We're going to hit enter. If we're going to here, these are Angular UI components. We're going to here and checking. This is admin template 2, and there are different templates which are using in the Angular. This is our Angular. Okay, we're going to minimize this and this and this. Okay, which features documentations. These are okay. We're going to here and checking. Okay, okay. This is our Angular. Now, how to install Angular? Simply, firstly, I'm going to also explain what is mean stack. What is mean stack? M stands for MongoDB. E E stands for Express. A stands for Angular, and N stands for Node.js. Okay, what is MongoDB? We're going to here. It is a stands for it is a MongoDB. It is a NoSQL database. MongoDB is a NoSQL database or document based database. E Express is the Express is a framework. Express is a framework for Node.js. Angular is a framework for okay. It's firstly neglecting this. Sorry for and stand for Node.js. Angular is a framework for front-end web front-end web applications. Angular is a framework for front-end, not web applications, front-end. And Node.js, we are using Node.js. We are using Node.js for connecting to database and our UI page. Now this is our MongoDB. MongoDB is a NoSQL database, document-based database. E stands for Express, A stands for Angular, and N stands for Node.js. Okay. After that, we are going to firstly checking our Node.js. It is installed in our system or not. We're going to Zoom. First we're going to here and CMD. Okay, now we are going to Zoom and CSV. Also add the CMD in our system. Now, okay. Firstly checking our node installed in our system or not. But the section will depend upon the installed. So it means our node is installed in our system. Now we are going to here and checking how to install how to install Angular in our system. You simply npm install at the rate sorry not Angular at the rate but globally at the rate Angular Angular. Now we simply hit enter and Angular is installed in our system. And I'm already installed Angular in our system. So we are checking to our Angular // version. Okay, Angular // version. Oh, you don't remember. Okay, okay. Hmm. So it's not checking because it is a npm npm tool npm tool. So we are going to here, and also we are using there are different commands for using a Angular for creating a new folder using this command using an ng new and our folder name. Firstly, we are going to here going to our this. If we're going to here and creating ng new and our folder name. Angular is already created in our firstly we're going to what is the name of this tool like a moon. We're going to here an ng new moon. It is installing our system and all types of this like Angular files, this TS files, component files, CSS file are already installed in our ng and new.moon folder. Firstly, it's taking a bit of time to installing ng new moon. So after installing ng new moon, we're going to here. Okay, we're going to our VS Code. This is our Angular basic files. We are going to close this. This is our Angular basic file. If you're going to our source folder, or source folder, we're going to node modules. They are all node modules. We're going to a package.json file. This is our package.json file. All the dependency and dev dependency are already installed in our this folder. Now going to our src, then we're going to our app. These are the routing modules. For app routing modules, which means all type of routing are in, entered mentioning in that in this file. All type of CSS are mentioning in this file. This is our app.component.html file. This is app.component.ts file. This is our app.modules file. There are different type of different modules. We're going to assets. This is a git. This is going to our environment. There are 5 icon. There are different type of different. We're going to index.html. Our index.html file. And we're going to here. Okay. It's installing. It's taking some bit of time. After, if we're going to already, we are already going to a created file. It's a already created file. If we're going to here and opening a new, also opening a new CMD, because it's taking a some of bit of time. It's like a approx 1 minute. We're going to here. We're sharing. Here is going to sharing here. Now we are running a second command, which we are using. This is our second command, which are already created files. Firstly, we're going to our Angular folder. We are entered in Angular folder. Now we are using ng serve, and this serve file we are using for sending the file to the server, which means it will be after sending the file to the server in our localhost 4200 created. Then we are checking our all type of the file on the 4200 localhost 4200, and our ng server, which means our server is starting. We are using some other commands. This is our ng serve. So we are going to here. Or this file is not installed right now. Taking some bit of time. It's taking a bit of time. We will stop this if we find here. Because we're not wanting for this. It's taking some time. Due to some due to some problem. It's taking some time and checking some creating file. So checking here. Why our file is taking time. Mhm. Again, mm, it's taking time. Now we're just generating a folder. Now setup is started. We're going to here. Second thing, this file is showing error. After that, after this file is okay, compile successfully, which means our server is created. If you're going to here and checking, this is our file where your file is created. This is our ng and serve which we are using to creating a server. We are using ng serve. Creating a new folder, we are using ng and our folder name ng new and folder. This is enough for my today, sir.